to say. I think it's worth, although it's certainly this sense of being under siege and attacked, I think it's also worth questioning, like, the way that the limits of DEI as it's been institutionalized even before this, right? So part of it is not to have this before and after story where everything was good and we were effective, and then came the attack and now we're, but to really use it as a time of reflection, to think about what were we able to do before, what was that effective, what were the limitations of that. And so that's just a starting point to not sort of idealize it before this moment. Because again, like going back to White Coats for Black Lives, I mean, we are very good in these institutions of having good sounding words and phrases and mission statements and nice websites and, you know, and then to actually look like what are the teeth, what are we actually doing? So that's one thing. The other is, you know, to think about what, again, the substance of what we're doing, not the branding of what we're doing, and how we can continue, how we can do that work, maybe, not I would say covertly, but without necessarily using all of these buzzwords and so on. And so I'm thinking about like what RARE is doing with this retreat of engineering students before the engineering conference, and really thinking about using it at time to build community, to build this fabric of people who are, you know, experiencing the underside of these institutions. And so again, thinking about that as a model. But it's not, I don't have a like 10-point platform. One, because it's not my specific arena, and so I really want to encourage us to, you know, use some of the ideas in the book and this work to spark your own analysis and your own diagnosis of what's happening, and therefore prescribe for yourself rather than listen to an outsider. Because in some ways I'm an outsider to that kind of, you know, that work. So rather than waiting for the prescription, using it as with colleagues and with students and others working in your arena, I think that applies across the board. And goes back to my point about not trying to like impose and say this kind of helicopter expert model, consultant model, but really I think we all have the capacity, especially when we like work together to try to think through the different sides of things and draw on that wisdom and expertise, we can figure it out in terms of what applies to our own arena or work.